So if you've seen me talk or if you've been in one of my classes, you know how important I believe resilience to be in the cybersecurity community. It's a big topic, this issue of, say, digital resilience, cyber resilience, and so on. So I'm always on the lookout for cool companies that are working in this area. And today I have one of my friends who runs a company that focuses in an area called IAM Resilience. I'm going to let him explain to you how that works. So if this is of interest to you, stick around. I think you're going to enjoy today's discussion. I think you'll learn something. Hi, this is Ed Amoroso from Tag Cyber. I want to welcome you to our discussion today. I have a good friend today, Muli Mottola, who's the co-founder and CEO of a company called Acsense that broadly it does IAM resilience, but it's kind of cool. Like if you're an Okta customer, I think you'll like the way his solution provides some real value. And I've gotten excited about it. I've spent a lot of time with Muli and his team over the last year. He agreed to come on and chat and share with you guys today. So Muli, nice to see you. Thanks for making time today. I appreciate it.
Hi, Ed. Thank you for having me here.
You know, before we get into talking tech here, tell us briefly about the company, and then I'm going to ask you a little bit about yourself, but just in a few words or so. What does the company do?
So, Action's goal is to bulletproof your IAM and provide rapid recovery in case of disasters happen. We will speak about which disasters may happen during this session, but there are a lot of consequences for any kind of major change in just environment.
And in the old days, all those disasters would have been floods and fires, but now we've had to deal with now it's hackers and cybersecurity issues are a big part of it. So is that kind of been something new, like just this recognition that there might be bad guys going after your identity and access management system? Is that one of the premises?
Yeah, the role of IAM has dramatically changed during the flood of companies to the cloud. It's actually replaced the normal perimeter, and it's now the gateway to your organization. So both IT administrators has more burden on their shoulders, and IT security teams needs to protect against hackers, since this is a very lucrative target for them.
How did you come to learn this? Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know the answer, but share with the folks watching a little bit about your background and how you came to recognize this problem.
Yeah, so my career happened to start at a small company called EMC or EMC Square. EMC was the major brand for IT infrastructure back in the last decade or the first decade of 2000. I was acting as both solution principal and even as an account executive down the road when I moved to VMware, which is a subsidiary of EMC. And we were focusing on business continuity, disaster recovery, IT resilience, and all of that. In 2014, Dell bought EMC, becoming the largest IT vendor in the world. And I decided to leave to my own track with a colleague of mine. Together, we built a consulting firm, and we moved to a new road. The road showed the cloud at the end, so we decided to help companies move to the cloud more securely. And one of the key milestones that we found that are required during that transition is the identity and access management, because we understood that the perimeter is no longer relevant, and it became more clear during the COVID period. But even before that, companies moved all their infrastructure to distributed networks, actually, which is called clouds, and they need to somehow centralize them. And the only way to centralize those distributed networks was using an identity and access management system, which provided the SSO, but also the authentication, the directory, the MFA, and etc. So our firm actually became an SI for Okta. So we became quite expert in Okta. And during the COVID, it was clear that Okta is a very good product, but it's not resilient enough to stand as its own and fulfill the role of the actually becoming the sole gateway of the organization. And this is why we built Acsense. We identified that modern IT, which rely on cloud services, the vendors does not provide the appropriate manageability capabilities for managing centrally these environments. And we bring from our experience all those capabilities upfront into the SaaS world.
I remember you telling me, I had such an aha moment when you were explaining this to me, probably a good year ago, about how the identity part is the resilience problem. I thought it was just a moment where I went, oh, I kind of get it. Because like for years, I've been worrying about Active Directory and other things. When they go down, you're in trouble. And you said, Ed, that's what we mean for IAM. Expand on that. That's sort of where you get the resilience concept, like this whole idea of keeping it going. Is that something that resonates when you're talking to clients? This resilience issue?
Exactly. So you have a main building block, which is the digital identity of the user. And everything, practically everything, is built on top of that object in your IT architecture. The identity is kept within the identity and access management system, which in the past was, Active Directory was giving a partial solution, but now it's the full solution, including the gateway and access into the applications. And everything you add that. The entire ZTNA, the Zero Trust network, relies on your digital identity. Without the digital identity, the entire Zero Trust network crumbles. And so maintaining the health and availability and integrity of the data within your IAM has become a crucial part of the IT manager.
So when a customer says, all right, I want to try this, walk me through what the experience is like. Like, what does a POC look like? What does a deployment look like? Where do you kind of sit in the context of an entity ecosystem?
So I think that when we broke down the use cases, we had to invent everything from scratch because there was no role or job called IAM backup admin or IAM resilience admin or something like that. And we tried to find out what are the use cases this specific persona would use our system. And we found that it comes down to two major scenarios. One of them is a day-to-day operational misconfiguration, mistake, something that broke the flow of the access of the users. It might be happening during ingestion of digital identities into the IAM system, the logics within the IAM system, or maybe even to the SSO part and access to the applications. One of them may fail and you need to fix it fast, and we didn't find modern solutions like the vendors that are main vendors in the area providing this as a good solution to detect and remediate the problem, and not only to say to recover the problem. The second scenario, which became more and more and becomes more and more relevant, especially these days, is the fact that this system is targeted by the hackers, and those groups try to get privileged access into the system. Actually, in the past 2 years, there are two gangs that are doing a lot of effort, especially targeting those big ones, Microsoft and Okta, and built malware scripts and attack and just sitting on that specific attack vector, and were able to actually penetrate with privileged access to more than 120 customers last year alone. I don't know the numbers this year, but they are working really hard. And that means that if you lose or if anybody get access using a super admin credentials into your IAM system, you're practically at his hands. The entire business is at his hands. He can choose either to block access or to steal data that was kept within the system, and you can't do anything about that. Like you're out of the game. So analyzing those two scenarios, we provided a system that can do, we call it full stack resilience solution, because our system can act in two states. One, and that is assuming that we consumed all the data within our system from your IAM. So the one is the ability to recover immediately misconfiguration within your production system. That can bring your business back to life quite quickly. It can be in seconds. So we both provide you investigation, understand the difference between 2 points in time, and quickly recover from that. The other scenario, which is a bit more complex, is a full disaster recovery solution. And this disaster recovery solution will help you in case, as we discussed earlier, when an attacker actually goes into your tenant and lock you out of your administrator dashboard. In that case, up to now, you had nothing to do, either to pay a ransom if it asks for, or just rebuild your entire system from scratch. So first of all, you probably didn't have the plans for the investment you did during those years of building the IAM system at hand, because you never had a backup tool for that. Secondly, you did not have a quick way of exit from that situation. So we provide ability to actually fully recover and replicate your tenant into a secondary tenant, providing a full disaster recovery solution and getting you out of this situation, taking back control.
In a nutshell, you're removing a pretty significant single point of failure for maybe one of the most important parts of a security architecture. I could hardly believe that anybody running Okta would not have the service. I'm guessing Okta probably likes what you guys are doing. You referenced that you have a relationship with them.
Yeah, I think that following the last 2 years where we pitched the problem to the market and also to vendors like Okta, I think that the past year was a breakthrough, both because of the increasing attacks around superadmin, which actually highlighted the requirement of having a good set of backup to your configuration, data, metadata, whatever is within the system to fix anything that the attacker might do. Actually, the vendor itself, Okta, has built a new category called IAM Resilience in his marketplace, which will be open probably by the end of this quarter, which actually highlight vendors like us that provide this kind of a solution for that.
That's good. Now let's make some predictions. So moving forward, what do you see? Like, let's start with compliance. Do you think that this finds its way a little more aggressively into the compliance and regulatory frameworks? And then maybe you can talk a little bit about technology, like as AI become part of the landscape. Mm-hmm. What do you see coming?
So I think that the main thing to understand is what we solve is something that sits under the responsibility of the customer. And having said that, there is a model called shared responsibility model, which all SaaS vendors are applying within their terms of service.
Right.
Yeah.
That's SA.
And in that model specifically states, especially with the IAM vendors, that the IAM vendor is responsible for the availability of the platform, but the customer needs to be responsible of the data within the platform. And that means that the tools to provide this capability and actually perform their part in the model is what we cover. Having said that, when an audit happens, let's say SOC 2 Type 2 or even SOX, and the IT is required to hand over evidence that his critical systems are backed up, and he has a disaster recovery plan, and everything is being, and the people are trained in these situations, it happened that usually they don't have a solution for that, because the vendors did not provide them ability to control over the data. And companies like Acsense are the ones that can provide the actual solution, and having a company that provides a solution will bring the auditor to demand a solution to be at hand, and not just having it like, okay, we have a plan, we have a procedure, the people are trained, but we don't have a tool to do that, which is usually the answer that we get from companies.
So is there anything I didn't ask you that I should have? It's such a rich topic. I mean, I wanted to make sure that people watching get the
Yeah.
sense that if they are relying on their IAM, then they better be thinking about resilience. And I love what you guys do, I think, particularly for Okta customers. But anything we've missed here that you want, any additional points that we should be making?
Yeah, I think that people need to understand that, first of all, IAM, when we speak at IAM, it's a large topic. And today IAM might include more functionalities than were in the past. So IGA, PAM, privileged access management, ITDR, which is an emerging category, everything is that is around the access control system and the directory are a large portion of today's IT teams. So I think that the overall resilience of that environment is important. And I think that on top of that, the IAM consumes data from many more systems that are important to the organization. For example, the HR system is also a source. So this is becoming not only a very critical part, this is becoming really a single point of failure, which we need to address, and sense of urgency is like it was yesterday. I think that that's the message that we need to have. We actually have, by the way, for companies that don't have time, budget, or don't have the ability to actually purchase this kind of solution, we provided a guide on how to build resilience into your IAM, which is free to using our website, which I can share later. And people can start working on that, or at least try to plan for their disaster or business continuity within the IAM arena.
Excellent. So Muli, if people have some interest and want to be in touch with you, what would be the best way for them to learn more about the product, get a demo? Would it be your website? Is that the best place?
Yeah. So if this session will be broadcasted soon, so I can say that we will showcase our product during Octane, which is the next event that Okta is doing, their annual event, and I'm happy to share from our experience and help with our consultants to build a plan and also test our system. Acsense.com is the right place to begin.
ACSENSE.com, and I see it on the background there. Muli, thanks so much for making some time today. Yeah. So always wonderful to connect up. I think very highly of what you guys do. I think it's super important. One of those rare areas where we really do have a gap in most control structures. So keep up the good work. You're helping to protect a lot of companies. So again, thank you so much on behalf of our audience, our team at TAG. Thanks for doing nice work. I appreciate you spending.
Thank you very much.
And for everyone else watching, we'll see you next time.